Good afternoon, Super Metroid fans. That's right. We've got more Hardway to Hell tournament action coming to you live from Speed Gaming 6. My name is the Hockey Towner, and we have some winners semifinal action today between Cheesy Boat Ride and Nick Player. The settings for today's race are so vanilla. We'll get more into that later, but we should have an excellent race. These are the overall 13 and 14 seeds. And the race has begun. We are on Series Station, which is in stark contrast to a lot of randomizer modes. So yes, the runners do have to get off Series Station. So a little bit about the mode. Basically the vanilla game, but with some horseshoes thrown in there, some couple wrenches thrown in the mix. We're lacking the similar majors as our previous modes. Screw and plasma are removed, and at least one suit. So that definitely biases everything towards the harder tricks in the game. Total ammo in the seed will be 230, 50, 50 for missiles, supers, and PBs. And since it is the vanilla map, there's an excellent chance that our runners will find 10 energy plus reserve tanks. And that puts bootless, suitless lava dive on the table. All right, so our runners are off of Sirius Station. They're headed down to the surface of planet Zebes. If you're wondering what game they're playing, Chad, this is Super Metroid. This is the Hardway to Hell tournament coming your way here on SG6. Yeah, Sirius Station throwing off more than just this commentator, but a chat is absolutely askew. You often don't see Sirius Station in a randomizer, but that's okay because our runners have put that in the rear view. You don't have to worry about magnet stairs or anything like that anymore. Now they just have to traverse through the dangers and depths of planet Zebes. Starting off, as they usually do, in Criteria. Really nice moonfall down the parlor there from Nick. Yeah, shout-outs to tournament organizer, A System of Vibrant Colors. Vibrant has done their best to absolutely tweak and define the settings for these weekly. Every week their settings change, so who knows what else she has in her repertoire. This commentator's guess is as good as any. But there is a power bomb here at the morph ball. I think that means that morph ball has to be in the ceiling over here. So a quick little deboost off of this Rio. Very nicely done from Nick Player. Same for Cheesy Boat Ride. Excellent execution. And a little E-Tank pickup. Now this is interesting. Nick going to Billy Mays' room here. And Cheesy also following suit. Let's see what kind of goodies are up here. Energy tank and super missiles. Very nice. First logical super missile pack, if I'm not mistaken. So those are the two big minor items that oftentimes in randomizer, it's hard to find them. But having them off the get-go is very beneficial to both of these runners. That's full access to pretty much any door in Zebes. And just a little alpha missile check. And it is the speed booster. Oh my goodness gracious. So Speed Booster is a little bit of a hindrance, a little bit of a... You'd think it would speed you up, but it might actually be a little bit tough because it alters Samus's maximum jump height. So Speed Booster best paired with the high jump boots, but there's no guarantee that our runners will have access to those boots. So Nick's into Old Mother Brain, gonna be checking underneath her busted glass case here. Nothing interesting on the so-called meme round, and that is the normal bomb, so we will be having a Bomb Chorizo fight if our runners so choose to face BT. So Cheesy about to pick up his normal bombs. Meanwhile, Nick's up into Parlor, going to be checking out the dentist missiles. Maybe the dentist appointment missiles, if you want to be very specific about it. And another energy tank, bringing the total number up to 4. So pretty much anything goes right now. I mean, we could see any number of checks, but I think the next logical play, and that's not so much seed logic as it is brain logic, is to go to BT. And that completes the minor item collection there. We do have a missile pack at BT. And a skip from Cheesy, so no fight. So that's definitely a huge, well, not a huge time save, but a substantial time save. Little Alcatraz escape, and going to be heading to the ship for a quick save and refill. Looks like Nick following suit. I'm not sure what ramifications that's going to have for Cheesy having skipped that missile pack, but there's got to be more missiles somewhere. I'm thinking back of Gauntlet, maybe even the front of Gauntlet. Perhaps even here at the landing site. I love that, love storing that Shine Spark while refilling at the ship and then just pew, just instantaneously diagonal sparking up. Beautiful movement from both of these runners early. Have to be extra careful here though. A lot of enemies lurking in the depths, as well as that acid is very, very deadly with no suits. So with 5 PBs as well as normal bombs, are we going to have a gauntlet check? It does look like Cheesy is playing it a little bit safer. Nick just going forward and onward, but now changing mind, maybe just clearing a path and then saving. I think this is a heads-up play from both of these runners to take a save here. Nick setting up for a little Shine Spark here. Open the door. What a clever play. Cheesy's gonna have to bomb through these blocks. Meanwhile, Nick's already into the front of Gauntlet. And we'll be rewarded with yet another E-Tank. Hey, don't have the beam combination for a wraparound shot, you gotta do it the old-fashioned way, but just what an amazing play there from Nick. Oh yeah, very, very vanilla strats there, no question about it. But what are we going to find here at the back of Gauntlet? Oh, very nice execution there from Nick. X-ray scope and spring ball. Yo. Stacking up the movement items. X-ray, a vital, vital item to initiate the so-called G mode, which I'm going to be leaning on Kai, our illustrious tracker. I mean, leaning on him heavily if it comes to that, if our runners are going to be executing G mode to go through the back of Lower Norfair. But we'll get to that if we need to. So it looks like Nick is heading to the moat, or perhaps just wants to consolidate all of this progress with another ship save and refill. But so far, runners are on pretty much the same trajectory, the same routing so far. Just a few minor differences. But Nick was able to make up all that time lost to the BT fight and then some, and is in a firm position here. Look at the speed keep into Parlor. Excellent execution. And now heading back downstairs, down to Retro Bryn. We're perhaps going to be checking out the Criteria Supers. Look at that D-boost off that Booyan. And the Wave Beam. Really nice pickup this early. Yeah, this has been an absolutely incredible Criteria here. Looks like Cheesy's following in Nick's footsteps here, going to 230, followed by perhaps those Criteria Supers, the Climb Supers. But meanwhile, Nick's going to be into Terminator on the way to Green Brinstar. Making quick work of those green pirates with that upgraded wave beam. Oh, Cheesy went right through the platform, just gained a little bit too much fall speed. Showing off the utility of that moonfall when traveling down the fall, the reverse climb there, but holy smokes. So Vanilla Strats here at early supers. Not earliest supers by technicality, but a French vanilla reserve tank there at Brinstar Reserve, as well as double missiles. And more power bombs, bringing our runners one power bomb pack away from Crystal Flash potential. Could have importance later on in this run. And with those power bombs, Nick is equipped to check the bottom of Brinstar here, going to Edicoons. And there is that third power bomb pack. Excellent. So a little bit more ammo. Just need a couple more supers to consolidate that Crystal Flash ammo. Not that it's the be-all, end-all, but you always like to see runners have it, especially in a mode where they might be denied the Varia suit. And all ammo down here at the bottom of Bryn. So curious what Big Pink is going to bring our runners in terms of upgrades. They can certainly get to everything, including Waterway, since they found that speed booster at the Alpha Missiles. Oh, just brilliant movement there. Bypassing that Decora pit there, his nikplayer. And just absolutely stacking up the energy tanks here. So into Mission Impossible now. And a vanilla missile. No big deal. But still plenty of checks to make here in Big Pink. Kind of one of the main thoroughfares, I should say. here in Super Metroid. I think the only thing that can challenge Big Pink for sheer number of checks is probably Bubble Mountain. And no need for any sort of super missile shenanigans. With the wave beam, our runners will be able to get past that wave gate, no problems whatsoever. But Cheese is into Edacoons now. Will be grabbing that missile pack. But a firm ammo advantage that Nick has from picking up so many missile packs. So Nick now setting up for back of Spo. Here you see the screen shake. You know it's good. That's super connected with that super block. A little quick farm session here. I think was looking for some more supers, but has plenty of everything else. This seed has been so far very, very, very generous with regards to missiles and energy tanks. But we'll see what's lurking down by Charge Beam. Oh my goodness. Oops, all missiles here in Big Pink. Been a nice Mission Impossible from Cheesy Boat Ride. We'll be checking Wave Gate and back of Spore Spawn. Meanwhile, Nick's down into the waterway. A little horizontal spark here. And yet another missile pack. Outstanding. So do you grab it on the way out? Yes, bringing the total number for Nick to 60 missiles. My goodness. Can our runners get some super missiles, though, for crying out loud? This is a tough position for both of these runners to be in. The drop rate for supers, I think, is exceptionally low for these bug-type enemies. When in doubt, everything in Super Metroid, if you're wondering about what kind of enemy it is, it's a bug. That's all there is to it. It's either a bug or a frog. But Nick's into Green Hill Zone, having collected that super. Meanwhile, Cheesy going to be doing that horizontal spark. No gravity suit required for this waterway check. Chat making some speculation on what looks most appealing to our runners. Is it wreck ship the play up the Red Tower or to the bottom of Red Tower? Perhaps stopping off at Kraid's warehouse before trying to clear out and hell run through Upper Norfair. It does look like Nick is heading up the Red Tower. Very difficult with this item loadout, but not impossible, especially for runners of this caliber. If you're just joining us, this is the Hardway to Hell tournament right here on SG6. And this is winner's semifinals. So both of these runners have proved their mettle, have gone through an absolute gauntlet of modes and challenges to get to this point. And these runners are actually representing the overall 13 and 14 seeds going into this tournament. So double kudos for making it this far and continuing on. The winner of this will be in the winners finals. And if they progress past that, they'll be in the grand finals awaiting the winner of the bottom bracket. So Cheesy through the Green Hill Zone. We'll see what he decides to do here in Red Tower once he gets past the new bridge. It looks like Nick is fully committing to wreck ship here. Didn't quite see what was at alpha PBs, but beta PBs was nothing too interesting, but huge ammo count right now. And Cheesy is going down the Red Tower, so we'll get a Spazer check here. And we might just see some of Upper Norfair. Really nice Ocean Spark there from Nick. Heading into the powered down wrecked ship, awaiting a tangle with Fantoon. Meanwhile, Cheesy's committing to Kraid's warehouse here. Cheesy making Kraid's hallway look oh so easy with that speed booster, just able to plow through all the enemies, collect up all those supers from Mini Kraid. Nick without a super, though, not going to be able to finish off Fantoon with a super unless get some lucky flame drop here. Now we got simultaneous boss fights. We've got Kraid and Fantoon. You love to see this. Really nice setup here from Cheesy, going for missile opener. Kraid quick kill. Phenomenal execution. Absolutely textbook. Nick setting up for that Doppler. Got a couple to connect there. That was a nice opening round. But still just the 5 supers. Wow, what a spectacular Fantoon fight from nikplayer. Very nicely done. We'll see what the wreck ship has in store for Nick. Because I believe Cheesy is going to commit to checking Upper Norfair. And with 8 tanks plus a reserve or 2, these hell runs are looking very, very tractable. So we'll get a little right side super check here from Nick. That is the Fantoon boss item in randomizer modes. And boy, we're at the not even the 25-minute mark. We're already up to 85. 85 missiles. My goodness. That's a lot of missiles. Now this is a heads-up play from Cheesy, taking the save in case this ice check doesn't pan out, can quickly reload his save and continue through the cathedral. Perhaps even if this high jumps check doesn't pan out. And Cheesy with all these missile packs closing the ammo gap on Nick. Love that spark, though, across Sponge Bath. That is just a heads-up move from Nick into Spiky Room of Death. Even with no suits, this room is still... It can be lethal, but with this much HP, I should say, no suits isn't that big an issue. And so it takes a little bit of damage, but really no muss, no fuss there from nikplayer. And look at look at the spring ball, the spring speed ball through pre-ice there from Cheesy. These runners are really putting on a display of movement today. I hope you're all enjoying this as much as I am. And Nick grabbing that power bomb pack, bringing the total number to 25, so that's several Crystal Flash opportunities. But without the supers, how can we Crystal Flash hockey? We gotta get more supers. They have to be somewhere. Oh, now this is a very interesting play. I wonder if we are going to see a Crockemeyer check here from Cheesy. Going to be going to the Crumble Shaft first into the Croc Speedway. I think it's got to be. It's got to be Croc, right? But it does seem like Nick is bound and determined to full clear this wrecked ship. I hope it pans out for him. I hope he gets something pretty juicy out of this. So Cheesy will be tangling with Croc. Unfortunately, unable to one-shot Croc. No Plasma Beam in these settings. No Charge Beam either. So, but I believe, if I remember what Kai told me, runners will be starting with a starter Charge Beam. Unless that was only the other mode.
Not this week. No starter charge this time.
Ah, thank you so much, Kai. I appreciate it. Our illustrious tracker and the augmentation to my Super Metroid IQ, our very own Kaizenton. And speaking of Charge Beam, speak of the Charge Beam and it will appear. There it is for nikplayer. Past these robots on the right side of the attic. And Cheesy, oh, gets the bad frame on that spike suit, unfortunately. Very, very close. I would have to agree with chat. Wreck ship totally worth it, if only for that charge beam. But we still have three plus checks remaining. We've got the sky missiles. We've got the other missiles, and then you have 3 checks at bowling. Oops, all missiles is right. I completely agree with Chad here. So Nick did take quite a bit of damage. It's tough without having any suits. Has just enough to cross bowling here, and a really nice spark up here to get to the Croc PBs. Nearly into triple digits on these missiles for both runners. And Nick taking a couple leaps of faith here. A 2-jumper across bowling, finishing with 55 energy. Very nicely done. Meanwhile, Cheesy Boat Ride clearing the landing strip here. Going to take a giant spark up here to Indiana Jones. And how about a giant leap over to Grapple Beam? It has been nothing but missiles here in Upper Norfair. This is preposterous. Bubble Mountain has to deliver. Little cosine room check here. And there it is, a coveted super missile. So Cheesy now has Crystal Flash ammo, but only if he does not use a single super missile. And what's it going to be for Nick here at Gravity? It is more power bombs. So that will do it on the wrecked ship. Major takeaway is that charge beam. So far, the Croc grapple play really hasn't played out for Cheesy, with the exception of that super missile pack. So unless there's one that's kind of en route for Nick, I think these supers are going to be tough to come by until our runners get to Meridia. Because this seed is just really, really stingy so far on soups. So Nick's back at the ship. Could head down the red tower and go all the way back to Upper Norfair. It's an option. I'm not sure what other play there is to make here, to be honest. With no high jump, no ice, or grapple, Meridia is just completely out of the question. But how about this from Cheesy? Getting to Bubble Mountain the old-fashioned way. Talk about off the beaten path. Meanwhile, nikplayer crossing the hellway. Look at those gap skips. Beautiful technique, beautiful movement. Let's see what's underneath the mountain here. It is a reserve tank. But first, we're going to check out X-Ray over here on nikplayer's screen. Taking off the speed booster because these waiver deboosts are just oh so precise. And wow, welcome in Raiders. We've got Kip bringing in a hearty host of 21 Raiders. Welcome to SpeedGaming 6. This is the Hardway to Hell tournament winner semifinals. We've got cheesyboatride versus nikplayer. We've got Kaizenton on the tracking and little old me, the hockey towner, on comms. So format today is so vanilla. Vanilla map, vanilla bosses, but with a couple tweaks here and there. Chief among them, removal of some really comfy, cozy items like plasma as well as screw attack. And we'll see what's at X-Ray here. Another power bomb pack. So I think there's only one more power bomb pack in the entire game for these runners. So really nice double chamber check, but not much to take away for Cheesy. Heading, though, up to screw attack. Probably going to do a bit of health farming here. Even with reserves, I think this is still really tight. So better to just farm up to at least those bottom tanks full. Oh, did I say screw attack? I certainly meant speed booster. Oh my goodness. That's right, Chad. Even us commentators get it wrong sometimes, and if in my case, often. But we'll see what's here at speed. It is another super missile pack, so huge difference here, 15 versus 5, but Nick does have that charge wave. But that has Crystal Flash potential, plus a little extra in case you got to deal with any number of bosses in this game. Chief among them, Ridley. So now we got Nick going into Kraid's warehouse. This section of the game, a distant memory for nikplayer. So I feel like item-wise, it's about a dead heat between the ammo and the charge beam. Charge beam just not really a high-value item with this much ammo available to these runners, especially with a total deficit of beam upgrades. But Nick's already completed the entire wrecked ship, so if Cheesy does commit to a full wrecked ship clear out, I feel like that could really slow him down. We do have Nick setting up for this crate quick kill, using that bomb to get into perfect position on that precipice. Oh my goodness, the supers are all falling in Cheesy's favor, but that is a pinpoint accuracy crate quick kill there from Nick. That is totally brilliant movement. And this has just been so fast from Nick. Crade's Warehouse is going to be just as distant a memory as it was for Cheesy. Yeah, really stringing together some really tidy rooms, some really optimized movement here from nikplayer. You got Cheesy going across Rising Tide on the way to Cathedral. Cathedral could have anything for these runners. But if I was a betting man, I would say it was another missile pack. No! It's always missiles. No! I blame myself for that one. Just playing the averages. So we will have Upper Norfair clean out from Nick, but Cheesy's already done so. Probably thinking about Nutella refill right now and just going for bootless suitless. Or perhaps just bailing on Norfair entirely. If Cheesy does decide to bail and goes wreck ship and defeats Fantoon, the full clear will cost him a lot of time. I think that's going to give Nick a golden opportunity to take a firm lead here. Speak of the refill, and the runners will use a cheesy boat ride utilizing that Sloter's refill. Perhaps that was why he went back up the elevator. I agree with chat. No, Cheesy continuing up the red tower will be going to perhaps X-ray and then wreck ship. But I agree with chat. I think lower Norfair is the play. Look at these deboots off these waivers. Look at the execution. Just brilliant stuff from Cheesy. I feel like Nick really wants some more Crystal Flash ammo. Otherwise, unless the E-tanks are spread at exactly the right points throughout Lower Norfair, gonna be very, very hard. Also, the Ridley fight itself, Charge Wave is suboptimal for sure, but having so few supers, it's going to be a long fight. It's going to be a tough fight. So I'm curious. I think it was at least 2 super packs that Cheesy found at Croc. I wonder if Nick will be checking Croc. That would certainly make Lower Norfair not only possible, but a little bit comfier. Two-way Bubble Mountain, thanks so much, chat. So Nick will be leaving Bubble with at least 15 supers. So a little top of red tower check here at Alpha PBs, on to Beta PBs for Cheesy. So our runners are gaining some steam here. They're figuring it out, figuring out where they're going to go, what they're going to do next. But the seed really not giving them much. Oh, Nick cutting it close there, getting to that Bat Cave farm location. Very nicely done. I think this is an interesting save here from Cheesy here in Red Tower. Having already checked Beta PBs. We'll be heading to the wrecked ship, but I don't know. Maybe ship, maybe that save, hard to say. Can't quite get that missile to connect with that door. Going for Ocean Fly. It was Cheesy Boat Ride, but going to do a little backup spark here, a little West Ocean spark. Oh, brilliant speedball there, heading into Fantoon. May the patterns forever be in your favor, Cheesy. A pretty decent Doppler there on that opening round. And a fast pattern. Very nice. Good manipulation. Decent Doppler there, too, for the second round. See if Cheesy can close it out in 3. Brilliant stuff from Cheesy. Very nice Fantoon. And nikplayer utilizing that Nutella refill. Going to be heading down to Crocomire. So it's almost like Nick does not know it yet, but the clock is ticking against him. It's going to be the amount of time it takes Cheesy to clear out this wrecked ship before realizing that bootless suitless is the answer to get to Lower Norfair. And meanwhile, Nick is improving his ammunition, his crystal flash potential. And with this many energy tanks, it's not gonna be I mean, you're taking constant heat damage in any of these superheated rooms, but the entirety of Lower Norfair, with the exception of the Firefleet's room, is superheated. So crystal flashing is gonna become vital for survival as well as success against Ridley. But I think given the general position oh, another bad frame. Unfortunately, neither of our runners able to consolidate those spike suits. Came oh so close. But I think given the proximity of Nick to Lower Norfair, I feel like if you had to check wreck ship, it was better to get it over with early. And so I think Nick is holding on to a lead, although a tenuous one. Because Cheesy's about to do wreck ship. E-Tank still has the entirety of attic and bowling to check. But we still have all of grapple for Nick to check as well. So Nick finally finding some super missiles. Double crystal flash potential unlocked. And unfortunately, Cheesy took a little bit of a dip here at wreck ship E-Tank. But fortunately is able to dust himself off. He's going to try again. Look at that, wasting absolutely no time. nikplayer sparking up to Indiana Jones. Oh, but misses the ledge. Gonna back it up, try again, maybe just go for the grapple check here first. Actually skipping the missile entirely. Scouted it and said, nope, I don't want it. I've got 150 of those suckers. Well, now you got 155 because it's oops all missiles down here at Crockemeyer. So Spiky Room of Death rendered just another room for Cheesy. Very nice execution. Not a scratch on that Chozo armor. So leaving Crockemeyer for the first and last time is nikplayer. Will we see a bootless? Bootless suitless. I think this is a great idea. I think Nick is heading back up to Bubble Mountain to save. So right side of attic checked out for Cheesy. Going to be heading to Sky Missiles next. And then that nice cutscene at bowling. So nearly full everything for Nick, and speed booster is turned off as Nick heads down to the chronic boost room. And this is where we will collectively hold our breath, chat. But runners of this caliber, you know they're perfectly capable of a bootless lava dive. But it's just one of those tricks that really separates the veteran runners from the neophytes. Ooh, we will see a bowling spark here from Cheesy. Much more energy than Nick had. Crossing that bowling, no sweat. Very nicely done. Gets a nice little reprieve here. All right, this is it. Power bomb laid in this chronic boost room into the Gravitron. It's all about utilizing Samus's iframes to great effect. Great ball bounce opening there into the lava. Pop the reserve, but it does not matter. nikplayer is into Lower Norfair. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Consolidating all of that effort with a quick save here at the Lower Norfair elevator. Spectacular. Meanwhile, Cheesy has full cleared wrecked ship, but Nick is now down into Lower Norfair. After a quick crystal flash, starting off with full energy, I should say. A first try rolling green gate glitch. Brilliant stuff from nikplayer. We'll see what GT has in store for these runners. Didn't quite see what it was. But the reset is telling, so Nick will go back to the top of the Lower Norfair elevator. Oh, thank you, Chad. It was an E-Tank. So, another quick crystal flash, but Cheesy is gaining on Nick with every room completed. Now into the bottom of Red Tower. Another Sloater's refill visit. So no space jump required for this Chozo statue to lower the lava/acid. Curious what Nick is going to find here at the GT missile. Unless we saw it already and I just didn't see it. Help me out if that's the case, Chad. Oh my goodness. What a pickup. The Varia suit. That is absolutely incredible. I don't believe it. What a heads up play. Oh my goodness. This is really incredible stuff here, folks. Bootless dive executed from Cheesy. Well done. Both of these runners really showing off. So Cheesy now into Lower Norfair, going to be executing a green gate glitch first. Jessica, you only really need one energy. That is true. Well spoken, chat. So nice energy tank pickup from Cheesy into GT fight, but that Various suit just taunting poor Cheesy Boat Ride. All right, looks like Nick's back in the driver's seat. We've got him back on the restream. Into the amphitheater. It's a tough room without high jump or space jump or any quality of life movement items. So Cheesy gonna drop that acid, gonna be picking up that Various suit. Heads up play here from Nick, a little quick save at the Red Key Hunter shaft. This fight against Ridley is not going to be easy, even with this Various suit. All right, checking out the power bombs of necessity. It is just a missile pack here in the wasteland. And look at this, dispatching the pirates with style and panache, utilizing those Shine Spark echoes. Wonderful stuff from nikplayer. All right, behind the scenes, we're ironing out just a few details as Nick's preparing to do battle, to be engaged in mortal combat with Ridley here. So getting all those supers out of the way early is nikplayer. Wondering if he'll be utilizing any PBs. Those double hits do a decent amount of damage. But also a ton of missiles on tap. How could I ever forget that? Just unloading on poor Ridley. Already have at least the first color change there. Ridley getting super aggressive now. Final phase of this fight while cheesyboatride is into just outside of the green gate. Gonna farm up some supers. And Cheesy having acquired that Varia suit. Oh, it ain't over till it's over. And that's a dead Ridley for nikplayer. My goodness. What a spectacular fight that was. Oh, now the runners get the high jump boots at Ridley. My goodness. Oh, but can they get an ice beam or something?
They can have Ice Beam after they defeat Botwoon.
Oh, nice. Thanks, Kai. So Nick will be making his Lower Norfair escape. Meanwhile, cheesyboatride playing worst room in the game. Very, very safe. Defeating those wall-climbing pirates first before dropping that PB to blow apart the ceiling. And no messing around with that, single pixel impossible wall jump. Instead, going with infinite bomb jump. Very, very good idea. Oh my gosh, the wasteland speedball from Nick as he heads back into the red key hunter shaft. Oh, this is a tricky save to make here. It does reset the key hunter's position once you leave the room, and sometimes they can be in a very trolly position. But look at this movement. Look at the death-defying, splitting the two key hunters. My goodness, Nick. Phenomenal stuff. Absolutely sensational. Now, did we already see a Fire Fleet check from Nick? We must have. That would be,
I didn't see any Fire Fleet check from Nick. So I think he's making a brave skip.
That is a pretty brave skip. I have to agree with you, Kai. And also skipping what's behind Hodarubi missiles there. But gotta check this. Gotta check the old... Oh, you want that super pack, Nick. You gotta have it. But look at this moving around these key hunters. My goodness, just a single little bit of damage taken. Wonderful stuff. Just wonderful. Meanwhile, Cheesy's continuing to traverse through Lower Norfair, so Nick out to a big lead here, having already defeated Ridley, having left Lower Norfair, put it in his rearview mirror. But really curious what this Meridia section is going to look like for these runners. I know they've got the high jump boots, and that's a huge find. But still, no grapple, no ice. That's a tough ask.
Pretty common, actually, in Hardway to Hell. They've got the spring ball, which will take them up Main Street, and the spring ball will also take them up Everest. And then they do the suitless CF clip to reach Batuan.
For sure.
Behind Batuan, they find something to get across Coliseum.
Or R mode, as Chad says. My goodness. All these modes. This tournament has...
Nick might be doing exactly that, because he filled up his reserves, and now he's emptying his E-tanks, so... It'd be nice to see him use the R mode blue suit.
So Kai, for those of us in chat, as well as on comms, who are not too familiar with R mode, tell us a little bit about it, if you would.
So he's going to take a hit going through the doorway into Pre-Cathedral Room. That's going to activate his reserves and his X-ray scope at the same time. He holds his X-ray until the reserves finish, so that he'll be in R mode after that. Then he does a crystal flash to put energy back into reserves again. The next time that reserves are triggered, a standing pose will be forced. So he's going to trigger those reserves during the windup for a shine spark. Interrupting the windup with his standing pose gives him a blue suit. And then he carries that blue suit into Meridia and uses it to get past the various speed booster obstacles. He's successfully into the R mode part. So now he's going to go dump a bunch of energy, bumping into these Deskigas. And then, when he charges his Shine Spark, he's going to wait until his energy drops to about 55. He needs to turn off Faria for this to have the timing work out easily. So you wait for your energy to drop to 55 right here. And then you start running. And then at about, say, 5 or 7, you press jump to activate the Shine Spark windup. It's important to only press jump and do not press up, because if you press jump and up, that skips the windup, and then you just get nothing. But you need the windup to last as long as possible and be interrupted by the reserves. And he's got a blue suit.
Yeah, my goodness, yeah. Blue
that was
suit
the main thing I
acquired.
wanted to happen in this tournament, is somebody using this blue suit to go through Meridia.
That is absolutely wild. Thank you so much for the detailed explanation, Kai. I definitely could not have figured that out on my own. First time I've seen that. Love to see
Bob,
it.
So.
Say again?
I learned it from Junie June and Bob.
That's awesome. Whenever I hear about esoteric rando seeds or modes or plandos, Junie's name is a name that comes up more often than not. So you can see why for this tournament these very, very kind of off the beaten path strategies are so essential.
And in this setting, the main thing to use it for is to skip that suitless crystal flash clip, because a lot of people have a lot of trouble with the suitless crystal flash clip, and the people who don't have trouble say it's really inconsistent. If you can find a way around it, go around it. So he's going to do the double springball jump up Everest, keep that blue suit, and then use it for the crystal flash clip.
That's awesome. That is really spectacular. We saw Cheesy get a little bit bullied by those key hunters, leaving the red key hunter shaft, so energy isn't perfect, but it's more than enough to escape Lower Norfair. Great patience here from Cheesy, leaving Lower Norfair, avoiding taking too much damage from this lava. And a really clever power bomb drop there to get to these super missiles. But Nick's into Meridia, into Mount Everest. We thank you all for bearing with our technical difficulties we've been having, so we'll just keep our fingers crossed. Oh, be careful, Cheesy! I should say he's into Fishbowl, not quite into Mount Everest yet, but we'll be attempting, as Kai said, a double springball jump.
Well, he already did one to get out the fish tank.
True. I always call it the Fishbowl, it's the fish tank.
So we know he's comfortable with it because he did one just to get to where he is now.
I'll say. That's a tough trick, but to make it look easy, that's a lot of practice. So it looks like Cheesy taking the time to farm here at speed. And might also be thinking R mode here.
I'm glad they're both doing it because this is good strategy, and I actually put some work into writing the guide to teach other people how to do it.
That's amazing. Just busting through those blocks here at the aqueduct. And then taking a little trip on the snail to climb up to Botoon's hallway. And with that blue, Nick will be able to bust through the speed blocks. Oh, an interesting question in chat here, Kai. Is it also possible to get a blue suit in G mode?
The wiki page says that G mode is a subset of R mode, so it should work just fine. Your difficulty there would be getting energy back into reserves and having a damage source. Like, the reason why I do it in Pre-Cathedral is there's the convenient damage source of the heat. There's no heat in G mode, so you'd have to bump into an enemy to interrupt the Shine Spark. So, if you're in G mode, you'd have to do it in a slightly different place and figure out a different setup that works better.
I see.
Cheesy is not doing this correctly. Oh, okay, now he's turning on Varia. The Sova does 20 damage when you're suitless, but it only does 10 when you have Varia on. So if he got hit by the Sova with his 19 energy as he stepped through the door, then you'd have 9 on the other side, and it wouldn't work out for him.
So Nick finding the grapple beam at Botoon E-Tank. That will be the way that he crosses the Coliseum on his way to Dragon. And oh my goodness, to see these shenanigans play out in real time over on Cheesy's screen, this is some weird, wild stuff.
This tech actually came up when I decided to learn 98% suitless, so I said, hey, this is really cool. Let's bring this into Randomizer and teach everyone to do it.
That's awesome.
Jeezy took too many hits from the Deskigas. They deal 80 damage with no suit. So you want to stop once you drop below 200 and kill the Deskigas. Oh, Nick using the blue suit for the full halfie. Nice.
That's a really clever way to utilize that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I prefer to use it for. As long as you get grappled to climb up the pre-halfie room.
So this dragon fight will be no sweat for these runners with that grapple beam and an abundance of ammunition. And if they want to, they can still Shine Sparker. It's up to them. So Cheesy popping that crystal flash, consolidating this arm mode attempt number 3. This one's going just swimmingly. Nick, though, got his normal Twitch stream up. I can kind of keep chat informed of what's happening in real time. A lot of swoops, but just unloading on Dragon with those missiles.
Looks like Cheesy succeeded this time. That's good.
There it is. Got the perma blue suit.
Oh, and as normal for a blue suit, you have to be careful not to press dash. If you press dash, you lose your suit.
So now it basically has to carry this blue suit all the way to the Coliseum. At the earliest, right?
Yeah. The important part is to get to Botwoon with it. Like, once you're past Botwoon, there's no real speed obstacles for you to get past anymore. Because you can go through the morph tunnel after Botwoon, and you can use grapple beam to climb up a pre-halfy room.
That's really cool stuff, and I just love the hitbox manipulation to climb past the Meridia Tube on the way to Main Street. And we'll get to see some double spring ball jumping here from Cheesy. Nick, though, is through the Precious Room, having defeated Dragon. Used a nice grapple jump to escape from Dragon's lair. So this has been just a spectacular
across
race.
The sand with this blue suit. You will not sink unless you stop. If you stop, you sink and you lose the blue suit. So
sinking in sand bad. Everything else good except for pressing dash. Pressing dash also bad.
Pressing dash is bad. Which is fine when you're underwater and suitless. So pressing dash does nothing suitless anyway. So
that's right.
No problems.
Oh my goodness. Very nice from Cheesy here in Main Street. I've always been fascinated in this speed game by the amount of hitbox manipulation required, even in the vanilla categories, between the ledge grabs and the down grabs and that, but this just takes it to another level. Even crouching to kind of extend Samus's maximum jump height from a standstill, and just able to clear just the absolute edge of these platforms. Just inspired movement from these two. And I gotta say, Kai, there's a certain elegance to a suitless Meridia. Just because of the altered physics.
Suitless Meridia is the best part of any seed. It's really the triumph of skill over obstacles.
I have to agree. I'd be a fool not to.
Oh, you notice how Cheesy sets up for the crouch jump here? He does a jump, and then he morphs, and then he unmorphs to get into the crouching pose. Because if he did a normal crouch, that would store up a shine spark, and then the next time he went to crouch jump, it would actually use his shine spark, and he'd lose his blue suit.
Oh my gosh. Everything has to be so coordinated. He's
been very careful about how he gets into the crouch pose.
That is wild. So Nick is back on dry land, having put Meridia behind him, heading to the surface of the planet Zebes, on his way to the Golden Four room and the final test of skill, which is Torian. So a quick save here from Cheesy. Very good idea. A lot of challenges ahead. Still having to hold on to this blue suit. Just has to get through Botoon Hallway at the minimum.
The blue makes the Botoon fight pretty safe because as long as you're moving, Botoon can't hurt you. But don't stop moving. If you stop moving, then you'll take normal damage from Botoon, and it hurts a lot. But if he does die, he'll have to fall back on the suitless crystal flash clip, because the suit goes away when you save reload.
Oh my gosh, it does. My goodness.
It's just like a spike suit in that way.
That is amazing.
Cheesy, you're supposed to go down on the right side, because there's just speed blocks underneath right there. The left side of the room is just speed blocks, so if you just go straight over to the speed blocks instead of going up to the top first, it's a few seconds faster.
You love to see it, though. These runners leaving a mark, leaving their own kind of their own stamp on it, let's say that. So a little Botoon fight here. Nick into Metroid Room 1, having to utilize power bombs to defeat these Metroids. 3 power bombs apiece. No ice beam available to these runners. So it makes for a slightly slower Torian compared to the ice beam. And then regarding the Zebetites, really unnecessary. I mean, they got plenty of ammo. Don't need ice beam for that. There's also the option to do a speed Zeb skip if they so choose. But I gotta say, Nick has just played an outstanding race, not to take a single thing away from Cheesy. And because this is a double elimination tournament, Cheesy will get knocked down into the bottom bracket where the competition is becoming increasingly fierce. So quick farm up from Cheesy there. Going to be climbing up this pre-Coliseum room here. Just utilizing that grapple beam. And look at that. Spectacular stuff. Through the door. Will we see a full halfie? Oh, no, we won't. Doggone it, another commentator curse. Oh, an 8th halfie. Maybe a quarter. I don't know. I'm not trying to rip Cheesy off here. Oh, and an absolutely spectacular baby skip from nikplayer. Well done. Our good friend OK Beamer in chat filling in the blanks. Audra, Rusty, Glove, or Fringo awaiting the loser of this match. That is insane competition. And oh my goodness, was that a first try Zeb skip? Impressive stuff from nikplayer. Playing outside his mind. Space jump in the precious room. What a place for it. Little French vanilla action here. And Nick's already threw Mother Brain 1 onto Mother Brain 2. So 23 supers on tap, 112 missiles plus charge wave. This fight shouldn't be too terrible for Nick. You can see Nick unloading with those supers, just absolutely taking Mother Brain 2 to task as Cheesy patiently awaits the arrival of the Queen of the Shrimps Dragon with that grapple beam equipped, just waiting to get Goop, setting up for this quick kill. Oh, just can't quite get that grapple beam to connect. So Cheesy is going for a ride, and it ain't on no boat. It is in the clutches of this monster. Not to worry, though. Swipe with her tail as many times as she wants. She's about to get electrified. Wonderful stuff from Cheesy. Oh, Nick with a little bit of a top up here, using some of that reserve tank to get past that 301 threshold here for Mother Brain's Rainbow Beam. And into the cutscene. I gotta say, this has been an absolutely spectacular race and very well routed by Nick. Choosing to do a wreck ship much earlier, that I feel was a major difference maker in the success of this seed. If you had to do it, better to get it done early. Better to consolidate all of Lower Norfair at once. Or at least, you know, a double dip rather than a triple. So we saw Cheesy utilizing that grapple jump to get out of Dragon's Lair, but now having to utilize double spring ball jumps to leave this precious room. Just always so impressed by this. I should say single spring ball jump, but it's 2 single spring ball jumps. But that does not make a double spring ball jump, let's be honest. I'm setting up for a Womple jump here. Or perhaps it's kind of like a pseudo Womple jump. Utilizing those physics of the Varia suit underwater, I should say the lack of gravity suit, to just kind of propel himself up towards that save room. Not a darn thing, Beamer. Nothing confusing about that. A triple single spring ball jump after a single double spring ball jump. Oh my goodness. Got 2-for-1 deal going on here. But Nick into Mother Brain 3, utilizing that hyper beam to great effect, snapping back Mother Brain 2's head. That is a dead Mother Brain, turning to dust. So Nick's going to be on the escape. That is all that separates him from now and the winners finals of the Hardway to Hell Tournament 2023 edition. So utilizing that spark, little shortcut there into the Leodoc's room is nikplayer, blowing away these pirates. Lag reduction. Will we see a moonfall? Oh, went for the setup but didn't quite get it. Just has to nail this behemoth spark up the climb. Phenomenal stuff. Holding on to that shoulder button, sparking all the way up to the top into Parlor, a single door transition away from success. And nikplayer has done it, finishing in first place with an official race time of 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 17 seconds. GG to Nick. And we do have an official forfeit from cheesyboatride. An amazing show of skill, but not enough to overcome Nick. All right, we'll see if our runners will join us for a little post-race chat, a little interview action. We are joined by today's runner-up and heading down to the bottom bracket, Cheesy Boat Ride. GG's, what an amazing seed.
Yeah, that was something. I mean, I don't know what nikplayer ended up doing. GG, by the way, that's a crazy good time. I'm assuming he went Norfair first and then did the dip before going back to wreck ship, and I went to wreck ship.
We are joined now by nikplayer, today's winner and heading to the winners finals of this tournament. GG's, Nick.
Thank you, GG's. Oh man,
Yeah, GG.
I'm so happy that I found the time and go to the final. Oh man, I never was in a final in the tournament. This is very awesome.
Yeah, it was absolutely spectacular from both of you runners. You nailed all the major tricks. Love that arm mode to get through the Botoon hallway, and all utilizing that blue suit spark across the Coliseum. But yeah, just I think it came down to routing. I think that was the major difference because I feel like Nick, you both runners full cleared wreck ship, but Nick, you got to wreck ship much earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I went down to. I was really kicking myself. I went down to Upper Norfair because sometimes you can spike a Varia suit in Croc in these settings, and
yes.
If you do that, you can just go straight into LN. And I went and full cleared Upper Norfair first, and I had just enough ammo to dip Golden Terrizzo, but not enough ammo to do any kind of meaningful like Ridley fight. So I was like going back and forth. I was like, do I want to dip? Like Varia might be there, and I was like, nah, let me go back up to ship and full clear the ship for supers. And then I just at that point was thinking like it must be a suitless seed. So when I saw that Varia at the Golden Terrizzo missiles, that was pretty painful.
Yeah, I reset one more time. Yeah, found this Varia and I was thinking, oh my god, this seat. And the seat was in beginning very confused. I was so confused that we have Springwell for the beginning, very often the energy tank. And I was thinking, should I go Upper North when I have 7 or 8 energy tanks? I was also thinking, man, I know some suite is on Upper Norfair because I have 7 energy tanks. But I decided, okay, I have speed booster, go first, wreck chip full cleared, and go then Upper Norfair.
Yeah.
It was definitely a wild one, but both of you are still in the tournament. Nick, you're all the way to the grand finals, awaiting the winner down the bottom bracket. But the competition, Cheesy, in the bottom bracket, you still have Audra versus Rusty. You've got Glove versus Fringo. And then the winner of those 2 matches will play each other. The winner of that match will play you for a spot in the grand final. So lots to look forward to in this tournament.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, I think we're going to close it out there. Do you have any last-minute remarks, anything to say?
Just GG, Nick. Like, super well played. That's a crazy good time for that seed.
Yeah, thank you.
And thanks